Strange explosions wake up a neighborhood. Now the man next door is dead. Why neighbors don't believe his house fire was an accident. And the man sentenced to death for murdering a district attorney and his wife wants a retrial. Hear what Eric Williams' lawyer says caused him to kill. East Texas News Weekend starts in 60 seconds.
Live in high definition. Caring, committed, proud of East Texas. You're watching East Texas News Weekend.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Neighbors are shaking their heads tonight, wondering what really happened to a man who appeared to have died in a house fire. The man's body was found early Friday morning in his house in the 7,000 block of County Road 291 in Rusk County. East Texas News Weekend's Bob Hallmark has more on the mysterious circumstances that have investigators looking for answers.
Neighbors say they woke up early Friday morning to the sound of explosions, which burned down this small home and led to the discovery of a man's body inside.
It was just a terrific loud boom. You could tell it was not a gun sound. It was much too loud for that. And then shortly thereafter was a second one.
The investigation has the attention of the Rusk County Sheriff's Office, Texas Rangers, ATF agents, and arson investigators.
I was thinking somebody had that explosion and set about shooting it at night, and I was like, oh gosh.
Investigators are not calling it an accident, and they're not ruling out foul play.
Arson investigators have been sifting through the ash and debris all morning, looking for something. It's well known by neighbors here that this homeowner had a wood-burning stove, so they're trying to find out what caused the two explosions.
The man's name and the cause of his death have not been released. Many neighbors we spoke with say something in this case just isn't right.
So there was something that exploded, but they think that he was shot.
We've had a quiet community. Anything that goes on that's out of the ordinary, I just cringe.
Bob Hallmark, East Texas News Weekend.
The man's body has been sent to a Dallas forensic lab for examination. A man who led officials on a high-speed chase through 2 counties is recovering tonight in a hospital. DPS troopers spotted the man in Gregg County late last night near White Oak in a stolen vehicle. They say he then took off into Upshur County and later crashed near Highway 271 and North Point Pleasant Road. The suspect's name and what he will be charged with have not been released. He was taken to a nearby hospital with several broken bones. People who dropped off animals at a shelter that is under investigation for animal abuse say they want those animals back. Several people showed up today at the Klein Animal Shelter in Jacksonville, only to find the doors locked and a sign that says closed until further notice. The woman in charge of the shelter, Angela Wallace, was arrested yesterday morning. She's charged with assault of a former employee, illegal euthanasia, and animal cruelty. The Klein Animal Shelter takes in animals from Jacksonville, Tyler, and Cherokee County. Tyler officials say at least 3,000 animals from Tyler were taken to the shelter last year. A vet who visited the Klein shelter last night with Jacksonville police say it's only built to hold around 150 animals. Tonight, people all over East Texas are worried about what happened to all the animals who were sent to the shelter in the past, and they want to know what the future holds for the animals still inside.
Brought a cat that was neutered that I've taken to Tyler, and Tyler hasn't, able to take it in because I live in Cherokee County, and then I bring the animal here, and I want the feedback of where it's gone to.
Jacksonville police officials say if you have an animal in the shelter that you want to reclaim, you can call the Klein Animal Shelter and leave a detailed message. They say a shelter board member will return your call. As for the animals still inside Klein, police say they are being cared for by shelter employees and are in good health. However, the vet who went inside with officers says they did find freezers full of animals he says had been euthanized in the last 48 hours. The vet who gave us that information is the same man who took care of Henry, one of the animals saved from the Klein shelter. We introduced you to Henry last night. He was taken to the Klein shelter with a broken back and was not given proper medical care. Tonight, Henry is back in Tyler. A change in plans moved his surgery to next week. Henry will head back to Texas A&M University on Monday and is expected to make a full recovery. A Wood County family's home is gone after it went up in flames. Their house was just off of Highway 49 on County Road 2650. The Mineola Fire Department says the house is destroyed. One person was treated on scene earlier today, but was not taken to a hospital. Firefighters are still investigating what happened. We have an update in the case of a man accused of killing the Kaufman County District Attorney, the DA's wife, and a top prosecutor. The Terrell Tribune is reporting Eric Williams, seen here in a Rockwall County courtroom in December, is asking for a new trial based on tests that show he has signs of brain damage. The Tribune reports a judge agreed to medical tests to determine if Williams, a former Kaufman County Justice of the Peace, was driven to violence because of neurological damage resulting from diabetes. Williams was sentenced to death for killing Cynthia McClellan and her husband in April 2013. Prosecutors argued the murders were retaliation after DA Mike McClelland and prosecutor Mark Hasse caught Williams stealing county computers. Williams was convicted and lost his license to practice law and his position in Kaufman County. His wife Kim Williams pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in Hasse's death and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Additional security measures are about to be introduced at U.S. airports in an attempt to stop possible terroristic acts. More random passenger and luggage checks will happen at the gates once travelers have cleared TSA checkpoints. Other countries are also taking action tonight to protect themselves. Soldiers in Belgium have taken to the streets for the first time in decades. ABC's Chuck Siverston has more on the crackdown on terror threats.
Hundreds of soldiers in Belgium standing guard with machine guns. Their mission, protect the people and preserve their freedoms.
We are talking about two companies. There's 150 people deployed today, and this will grow to the full two companies, which will be around 300 people.
The soldiers are being deployed for the first time in 30 years across cities including Antwerp and Brussels. They're keeping watch over foreign embassies and national institutions, such as the Jewish Museum. Their activity comes 48 hours after dozens of terror suspects were arrested in raids across Europe, triggered by a plot to kill police officers in Belgium.
This operation was meant to dismantle a terrorist cell, not only the terrorist cell, but also the logistic network behind it.
Britain has raised its terror alert to its highest level yet. In the U.S., the NYPD is also bracing for active shooters. In response to the situation, the Pentagon is promising to send troops to Syria to train rebels in the fight against ISIS.
Tonight, Yemen's national security chief says authorities have arrested 2 French citizens suspected of being members of al-Qaeda. They did not mention whether the men were involved in this month's attack on the French newspaper. Family members of 2 teenage sweethearts on a crime spree across the South hope new tips announced today will lead to their arrest. The sheriff from their western Kentucky town says the search for 18-year-old Dalton Haynes and 13-year-old Cheyenne Phillips could soon be over. They're tracking the pair, who have stolen vehicles and written hot checks since vanishing earlier this month. They are believed to be in a stolen 2001 silver Toyota Tundra, similar to this one, somewhere in Florida. The girl's mother says the last time she heard from the pair was in a text message on January 5th asking for money.
She said, "We're just going to run." And I'm like, no. I said, y'all don't need to do this because Dalton was supposed to be in court that Monday morning.
The pair has not committed any violent crimes that police know of, but they say the last 2 vehicles the teenagers stole had loaded guns inside. They've been on the run for 13 days. A mother about to gift her daughter $2,000 has the money ripped out of her hands. Coming up next, she shares how her feeling of generosity turned to terror and how a brave man stepped in to help her. And the growing danger of violence pushed a man to leave his country behind. But there is one thing he brought with him, and he wants to share it with East Texas. His story is coming up next on your East Texas News Weekend.
KLTV, your Storm Tracker 7 weather team, can see the weather in ways that other meteorologists simply can't.
Giving you the most advanced warning when a storm approaches your neighborhood.
We've invested in dual pole technology because we are committed to your safety.
We have some breaking news tonight. The Tyler Police Department is searching for 2 men who robbed a store on South Vine Street earlier tonight at around 8 o'clock. They say the men robbed the store at gunpoint, shoved 2 employees into a back room before making off with an unknown amount of money. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as soon as we know more. A mother who was robbed while sitting in her wheelchair is now sharing how the kindness of a bystander changed her fate. Donna Lennox withdrew $2,000 in cash this week from an ATM in Milton, Washington. Her daughter and son-in-law are returning from their tours in Afghanistan and are expecting a child. Lennox wanted to surprise them with the money, but instead a thief ripped it from her hands. Luckily, a good Samaritan, who happened to be a former mixed martial arts fighter, jumped in to save the day.
Made a beeline all the way across to the parking lot for him, and when he reached his vehicle, he hopped inside right as I got there. I elbowed him as soon as he opened the door and pushed him aside.
Myron Gilseppi held the suspect in a car until police arrived. Lennox could not believe what happened and promised to buy him Seattle Seahawks tickets next year because he's a hero. A man living in Nacogdoches says it's no longer safe to visit his hometown in Mexico. So he decided to bring a little piece of his heritage to East Texas. East Texas News Weekend's Blair Leday has more.
Sergio Rodriguez says he loves to see handcrafted folk pottery like this back at home in Mexico.
That you would have to travel to get.
A trip he says is no longer as easy or safe as it once was. So Rodriguez opened a shop right here in Nacogdoches.
That was the inspiration of and opening this store.
The shop is full of handcrafted pottery that reminds him of home. Rodriguez says the items are traditional and made in a few places.
Deep in Mexico in different towns.
And now they're on North Street for anyone wanting to bring a piece of Mexico into their homes.
You admire it and you like for it to continue to be around.
He says one of the most important things is that his children see the art painted and glazed as carefully as they were years ago. His favorites are the customized pits because they remind him of the constantly burning pits and parties of the past.
My children haven't been able to see any of it just because of how bad it is over there.
Rodriguez says he's happy to share his culture with not only the town, but also with his family.
Pass it along to my children, and I try not to forget where we come from.
Blair Leday, East Texas News Weekend.
Rodriguez says he looks forward to sharing the art with East Texas. His shop had its grand opening earlier this week. All right, Daniel, big weekend for a lot of people. A lot of people have Monday off, and what a great time to get outdoors.
Oh, I know. It's the perfect time for a 3-day weekend for those who have it.
Right.
Take advantage of it. I mean, if you have any kind of outdoor plans, it's going to be perfect. So definitely want to get the family together, go out to the park, anything you can, because you got to take advantage of it because we're still in winter in East Texas, and you know things change very quickly here as far as weather's concerned. I have all the details on your forecast for the next week coming up in just a bit. But first, let's take a look at our Grant and Flannery neighborhood weather net site out in Greenville. They got up to a high of 68 degrees, but it's already down to 45. It'll get a little chillier. I'll have details on your forecast right after this.
Not just reporting the weather.
The hard freeze warnings are in effect.
A little wintry mix across the area.
But helping you prepare for it.
Anything exposed to the elements should be completely covered or wrapped.
KLTV 7 News, your East Texas news leader. Storm Tracker 7 Weather is sponsored by At Home Healthcare, bringing healthcare home for over 25 years.
Well, it was one of those days here in East Texas where you just wanted to put the top down, roll the windows down because temperatures were not too bad today. It was actually very pleasant to get out there and enjoy the weather. Let's take a look at temperatures, the high temperatures for today. Temperatures climbed into the upper 60s, even 70 degrees down in Crockett. So if you had any of those outdoor plans, it was just an ideal day. And even if you had any of the yard work or anything you needed to get done, it was the perfect day to do it. But if you haven't done it yet, well, tomorrow it will be just as nice. But as we take a look at temperatures, the average for this time of year, 37.56. But when we look at our average for the first half of January, our average high was 45.5 degrees. Now our low, 31.8. But then check out today. The low was 39, so it still started out a little chilly, but our high of 69 degrees. 45 was the average for the first 15 days. We were 24 degrees above that average and 13 degrees above our normal average for this time of year. So just very warm conditions. But since the sun is set, temperatures are dropping rather quickly. Our current temperatures, it's 45 in Mineola, 51 still in Tyler, still 55 degrees in Jacksonville, but down to 43 degrees right now in Nacogdoches. Dorothy Penny in Southwest County reporting 53 degrees. Taking a more localized look at your temperatures for the weather where you live. It's 48 degrees in Holly Lake, 47 in Lindale, down to 46 in Trawick, also 47 degrees in Huntington and Broadus. Storm Tracker live Doppler radar are seeing a few cloud cover, a few high clouds moving through parts of deep East Texas. Still clear off towards the north. You can expect a few high clouds to move across the area this evening as this cold front moves through the area, already through most of East Texas right now. That'll continue to move off towards the southeast, but notice not really any moisture associated with it. Area of high pressure is helping to keep us dry, but we are still seeing this steady flow of cloud cover moving in from the southwest, but you can see kind of cut off right here towards central parts of Texas, and that'll continue to move through the overnight hours. So could still see a few clouds throughout the night. Temperatures not really seeing a big drop. You can see it's in the 30s back towards Amarillo and Kansas City, and still in the 50s, Little Rock and Dallas. So it's a weak cold front moving through the area. Not expecting any Arctic air to make its way into the area, but it'll still be chilly overnight with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Those winds shifting towards the northwest as that front moves through, with temperatures in the upper 30s to the lower 40s. And then just another beautiful day tomorrow. Warm and sunny. Those high temperatures in the middle 60s, with that weak cold front moving through will shift those winds very quickly back towards the south by the afternoon, as that area of high pressure will be why we're seeing these mostly sunny skies, as it'll continue to linger around the area heading into Monday. But we're watching our next cold front that will continue to move off towards the southeast, and it'll be moving through East Texas heading towards Tuesday morning. Now, you're not really seeing any moisture with this one as well, but it will bring some colder air back into the forecast as we head into the middle parts of the week. But planning your day tomorrow, starting out still a little chilly into the upper 30s to the lower 40s, but then climbing rather nicely back into the middle 60s. And check the winds moving back towards the southwest this evening. But then your 7-day forecast showing us staying warm for your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday at 66 degrees, but that cold front will move through Tuesday. And look at those temperatures drop by Thursday into the upper 40s, with some slight rain chances throughout the day, clearing by Friday, but then watching our next chance for showers on Saturday and into Sunday as we look at your 7+7-day forecast, with better rain chances on Sunday. Model's not really in agreement right now. It's definitely something to watch on the timing of that rain, but then we'll watch another cold front move through the later parts of that week on the 28th, and that'll bring some cooler air back into the forecast. But you gotta love the warm weather right now.
Incredible temperatures for January.
Oh yeah,
really.
I know. It's like it's January and winter. Oh, okay.
And the sun is out.
Hey.
Right, thanks, Daniel.
Yep.
The Stephen F. Austin men's basketball team put in its 12-game win streak on the line today in Abilene. Highlights of the Jackson Wildcats are coming up. Plus, it was a buzzer beater. Central at TBU. We'll show you the thrilling finishes next on East Texas News Weekend.
When the Stephen F. Austin men's basketball team takes the floor for a Southland Conference game, you almost take for granted the Jacks are going to win. Dating back to last year, SFA has won 21 straight SLC regular season games. The Jacks put their streak on the line at Abilene Christian this afternoon. SFA was looking for their 13th consecutive victory. First half we go. Thomas walk up to Demetrius Floyd, and Floyd hits the pull-up jumper. SFA up 15-12. Jacks extend their lead here. Jacob Parker from the wing, long ball, buries it. Parker had 12 points on the day. Then off the steal, walk up, watch this, nice no-look pass to Ty Charles. He'll make the reverse layup. Jacks, though, trailed by 4 at the half. Second half, a different story. Parker to walk up, backdoor cut, and he lays it up and in. Walk up had a career-high 30 points. Jacks win 82-64. They claim their 13th straight win. Let's go to the women's game between SFA and ACU. Second half, Lady Jacks feed it inside to Portia Roberts. She gets to go off the glass. She had a huge game. More on that in a minute. Abilene Christian, though, with an answer. They go inside to Lizzie Dimba. Nice up and under move for her. Back and forth ball game. SFA goes inside to Roberts again. Bucket plus the foul. She had 25 points. But check out the D here as well. Roberts says, not in my house. Game went to overtime. The Lady Jacks pull it out 71-69. They've now won 4 in a row. TJC was in Shreveport taking on Bossier Parish. First half we go. Dominique Shaw to Faith Pope. Alley-oop jam. TJC up by 4. Then Pope will drive and he kicks to Shaw. The former Lufkin Panther knocks down the long ball. Apaches continue to lead. Now Pope says, all right, back in the action, drive, finishes, plus the harm and the foul. Apaches win by 14, 70-56. TJC is now 14-4 on the year. What a day it was for both ETBU basketball teams. First in the women's game, less than 10 seconds to go, Malaysia Chisholm stole the ball and made the game-winning layup as time expired. ETBU beat Howard Payne 84-82. Then in the men's game, down by 1, under 10 to go, Irby Thompson drills the long ball. That was the game winner right before the buzzer as well. Crazy, crazy finishes at ETBU. The men also beat Howard Payne 71-69. Not too long ago, Texas was ranked number 10 in the country, but the Longhorns lost 3 of their last 5 games and dropped down to number 20. The Horns had a chance to get back on track in a showdown at home against 16th-ranked West Virginia. Texas looking to snap a 2-game skid. First half we go off the inbounds pass. Isaiah Taylor to Cameron Ridley, and he throws it down. Ooh, thunderous dunk there. Then Connor Lambert to a cutting Jonathan Holmes back door. He'll flush it with 2 hands. Holmes had 16 points on the day. Second half we go. Kendall Yancey alley-oop. Look at this. Prince eBay throw it down. Well, Cameron Ridley had 19 points to lead the Horns. They snap a 2-game skid, winning 77-59. In other Big 12 action, number 22 Baylor at Kansas State. Second half we go. Torian Prince. He'll go coast to coast, lays it up and in. Baylor up 46-37. But the Wildcats made a run. Nino Williams watch on the baseline. He'll bury the mid-range jumper. K-State ahead by 3. But Baylor did not go down easy. Kenny Cherry drives and hits, plus the foul. Baylor gets the last laugh in the, does not get the last laugh in the end, I should say. Kansas State holds on for the upset, 63-61. So fun day of hoops, especially at ETBU, those 2 buzzer beaters. In one day, that's pretty cool.
That was great. Yeah. Thanks, Justin. A Utah storage company is using a real estate trend to expand their business. Up next, we'll explore some man caves, getting a lot of attention in Utah. Stay with us.
You're watching KLTV 7, your East Texas news leader.
Man caves are not a new idea, but one storage company is creating customized remote man caves. They're turning 1,200 square foot storage spaces in Utah into luxury man spaces, including bathrooms, kitchens, and more than enough space for a television, pool table, or a motorcycle. That sounds a little more like it. The company's zoning permit won't let you live in these cave communities or operate a business out of them, but the company says that's okay. It's just meant to be a retreat. You know, keeping men in their spaces.
I'd rather it come be put in like my house. That way, you know, it's more convenient. Then you can.
Yeah, but this is like your getaway.
Well,
but I don't think you'd be cleaning your kitchen and your bathroom.
Get a basement, and that could be your getaway. Making your man cave down there.
You need to get away this weekend.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a basement this weekend because it's very nice. We'll continue to see this weather throughout the weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at what you can expect when you wake up. A chilly start though. Temperatures starting in the upper 30s to the lower 40s, but it'll be a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures will start to climb into the mid 60s, as you can see there on Martin Luther King Day. Upper 60s still possible, and then a cold front will move through the area by Tuesday. So that warm weather won't last too long. Temperatures will drop by Thursday with some rain chances possible. But then we'll start to warm up gradually, so we're kind of doing like a little bit of a roller coaster. A little warm.
We'll take it while we can get it.
It's like giving you a little tease before spring.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 8 for GMAT Weekend. Until then, you can find the very latest news, weather, and sports online. Have a good night.
Let the news follow you. From exclusive web content to text and email alerts, get your news wherever you are.
Recently, we've seen a series of attacks, both literal and cyber in nature, across the globe. Now, we know of the attacks on the newspaper staff and others in France, and perhaps you heard about the CENTCOM Twitter feed hack as well. Now, CENTCOM is short for Central Command and should be one of the most secure social media accounts in the world. Now, these and other attacks are connected to anti-Western groups, and some are connected to the terror groups Islamic State or even Al-Qaeda. So there's not been a more worthy time than now for the world to stand together against terror. The face of this most recent chapter is without a doubt the massacre of the French newspaper staff and the very public march by an estimated 1 million people, including more than 40 world leaders. But noticeably missing was a representative of the United States. Now, a lot of criticism has been